Ladies and gentlemen, Cat on Wheels here. As you all know, the country's been going through some devastating situation. The nation has been ravaged by floods all over left, right, and center, and it's not giving up anytime soon. From the way the president was speaking when he said that this is likely to go on for at least this month and the following month. And it is for this reason that we decided to suspend the weekly episode of the Cat on Wheels podcast that we normally shoot at the Black Rose Garage. Um, from the look of things, this weather is very unpredictable, and so we did not want to put our lives at risk. We did not want to put the bikers' lives at risk, simply because they commute and they use their bikes to come to the podcast, and our podcast is also outdoor. And since we don't know when it rains or when it's going to rain or how heavy it's going to be or the amount of flood that is going to happen along Thika Road where we normally film our podcast, so we just decided to, let's call it quits temporarily, but we'll be right back as soon as the rain stops and the flooding stops and when everything gets back to normal at least, and we'll be right back. So I know I've been missing, and I just felt like I wanted to explain myself first before I tell you the reason why I'm doing this. Well, I have an idea, because now that the rains happening, the floods happening, and we can't shoot our podcast outside anymore, I don't think that means the ball has got to stop rolling. I've been having this idea that has been eating up my head like for a very long time, and I think way even before the podcast, I this was the main idea that I was thinking, but I'm done thinking, and I think I want to do it now. I'm introducing a new segment which is called Safe to Ride. So Safe to Ride basically is just more or less like the Cat on Wheels podcast. You know how it happens, where I get to call a guest and then we get to talk about bike stuff. But here, it's a solo podcast. I get to do it alone. I get to share my opinion about biking, since its evolution. I get to share my opinion about biking from experience and from the guys that I've been hosting. And remember, the opinions are 100% my own, and I've done my own research and I'm talking about it. But if you feel otherwise, please just feel to drop your thoughts in the comment section, as I'll be uploading many episodes talking about safety when it comes to biking. I'm not an expert. I'm not a trained expert. I do not train people how to ride a bike. However, if you're a newbie and you wish to learn how to ride a bike, I can recommend you guys to a few coaches that I know who can do a really good job. That being said and done, I hope you guys will get to like it. I hope we get to engage. I hope we get to discuss more and more. As you can see, the podcast is now indoors, and this is just temporarily. And even after the rains, I'm pretty sure we'll still go back and to do the normal podcast that we normally have. I can tell you guys for sure, I have a crazy lineup. I have a group of bikers that will be coming. I have more ladies will be coming, and I really appreciate you guys. I thank you so much for your feedback. Ever since I started doing this, I've received some good positive feedbacks, and I'm really grateful for that. That encourages me and it gets me going. Some of the recommendations I've received from you guys, I really appreciate it as well, but unfortunately some of them I can do and some of them I cannot do, and some of them 50-50, but we'll see how it goes. Let me just talk about the Cat on Wheels podcast. I started this podcast because of the love I have for bikes, and for this reason, I didn't know it would grow to be this big. I didn't know it would turn out to be the way it is. I didn't know guys would be engaging. I didn't know I'd receive DMs. I didn't know that people would end up learning. Basically, I just wanted to talk about bikes. But look, over the months that I've been doing the podcast, I've hosted a great number of people, guys who've been there in the game for quite some time, and some of them who just started recently, and they all have their experiences, and I'm really grateful. This thing, the kind of messages I receive from you guys, some of them telling me, hey, I didn't know this happens, especially with Coach Micah and Wasike. These guys are trained experts, and they've really shed some light in the biking. I also got to learn a lot while I was doing this interview, so it has made a very huge impact in my biking journey as well. So thank you so much. Some of the recommendations I've been receiving from you guys, I just want to highlight them before I sign out. And this episode, this pilot episode is strictly for introducing the Safe to Ride segments, where I'll be talking about safety about bikes, safety when it comes to bikes, underrated things, overrated things, the things you should do, the things you shouldn't do. Some of them you've heard about, some of them you've never heard about. But if you're a new guy, you're into biking and you don't know where to start or where to begin, this is the channel for you. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to tell your friend who are interested in biking. Tell them to subscribe to this channel, and you'll get to learn a lot. We here with bikers, we get to engage and just discuss more. So what was I talking about? Yeah, the recommendations. Some guys have been asking me, they've been asking me if I could do bike reviews. To be honest, I cannot do bike reviews. I'm the type of guy, if I decide to do bike reviews, I will have to do a comprehensive review, not just like a 1 minute or 2 minute things, like this bike has a quick shifter, this bike has a it has a, what do you call it, it has an exhaust, it has aftermarket. No, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do a comprehensive review of the bike. And some of the guys have been asking me, how about you tell the guys you're interviewing to do a review of their bikes? Now that is something that I cannot do also, unless if they'll be willing, but I'm pretty sure not all of them will be willing, because and now that means there will be an interruption with the consistency flow of the podcast and the episodes. Some of them will be having reviews and some of them will not be having reviews, and that would make it look funny. Because look, remember, the guys that I'm hosting, some of them have lives outside biking. Some of them, they go out of their way to just come and do this interview. So for that reason, I wouldn't want to bombard them with a lot of things to do. Some of them just have their bikes for commuting. For example, someone like Imeu, he commutes with his bike. He clearly said it. He does not really care whether the bike can do 300 or 200. He just wants to commute and enjoy the biking. So starting to tell him, oh, tell me about your exhaust, he'll be like, what the hell? Even if he does not know the details and stuff like that. And for those of you who've been asking me to do a bike review of the R1M, that is something that I also cannot do, like I told you. And the reason why I cannot do bike reviews for now is because the podcast alone takes a lot of my time to shoot the podcast and to edit as well. It takes a lot of my time. Remember, I do most of the things alone. I have a crew of 2 guys. When we come, we shoot and everything. Sometimes I prefer to do the editing my own for myself, because I understand biking more. So for that reason, I don't think doing bike reviews, it's something I could do for now. Maybe later in the near future. And also another guy, someone else been asking me, hey, where are the ladies in the biking industry? Let me tell you guys, we have a lot of ladies. There are a lot. And moving forward, the next coming few episodes that I'll be airing, as soon as the rain comes to a stop, I'll be having ladies. There are about 5 or 6. You guys will be surprised at with what knowledge they have when it comes to biking. Recently we had women mechanical workshop, and it was a success. A lot of women turned up, and it turned out to be so well. It was so great, and we all enjoyed. They learned a lot, hoping they learned a lot, because I think I'll be calling. Yeah, I think what I'll do also, I'll call all the women who attended the workshop, and I'll ask them what have they learned. But I'm pretty sure they learned something, and yeah, it's that's a very good growth when it comes to biking, especially private biking in Kenya. I like the way we have a lot of content creators right now. This highlights more on say the private bikers. A lot of guys now, they're doing content with their GoPros and everything. So I encourage you guys to keep creating content, keep creating bike content, and it's making us feel more relevant. We are getting recognized, in this country. And I've tried watching some bike content, especially out of Kenya in Africa, and I don't see. I think Kenya, we do a lot of bike content, private bike content, more than any other country in Africa. I've seen Uganda, but it's a few. I've seen Tanzania. I haven't seen any. Rwanda, I see Zambia. Zambia is coming number 2 after Kenya. They're not doing so much content. I mean, they're trying, but it's getting there. And South Africa pia kidogo. But yeah, all in all, we are bikers and we enjoy what we're doing, and for the love of biking, I'm sure that is why we are creating this content, and that is why we have the Cat on Wheels podcast, and that is why I'm introducing Safe to Ride. So I hope to see you guys in the next episodes, and I'm really open to discussion and engagement, only that this time this is going to be more of a monologue, and then we can get to have a comment section where you guys can get to share your opinion about what I just said and what you think about what I just said. It's all welcome. Feel free to do that, all of you. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Cat on Wheels here, signing out. Safe to ride. Cheers.